Okay, so hello everyone, fellow LN enthusiasts, fellow noodle enjoyers, and all of my rice haters. Welcome to the Osmania Longnut Tournament for quarterfinals. We have a banger of a matchup for you. I know I've said that for every match we've had previously, but this one, so far, gonna be one of the best. I'm Cryolian, one of your commentators for today, and alongside me we have the one and only Epic Man 2. How are you doing?
Hello is such a good word. I gotta say it about 4 times for extra measure. And yeah, very good introduction right there. Much appreciated. And yeah, this match is looking to be quite insane. Both these players are practically in the top of the leagues for this tournament alone, and they're going to be settling it here in the winners bracket to see who's going to be sent down into that losers bracket. As Paulie said, let the pillow fight begin. This is going to be crazy of a match.
Yeah, Pavin, seed 2, konkawe, seed 7. Not only that, teammates in Mania World Cup since 2022 up until now. They've been best of friends, they've been teammates all these years, but today they find themselves adversaries, and the fight will commence.
Absolutely. This is going to be one of the few friendly fire matches that we have where both players originate from the same country. And it's going to be really unfortunate for both these players because I know for a fact that they are both looking to want to stay in the tournament at least because they didn't go out the qualifiers with a fight without a reason, especially throughout the whole winners bracket thus far, where it's been time and time again just them proving that they are capable of whatever is thrown at them. So for it to be settled here in this quarterfinals bracket is kind of gut-wrenching, so to say. I can't lie.
Yeah, like as you said, through the round of 64 up until now, it's been like kind of smooth sailing, but the moment they hit quarterfinals, we have this bombshell of a nuke just dropped on them. It's like, oh my god. Well, alright, roles have already been done, protects are ongoing right now. We have the technical 2 protect of Asiel. I still don't know how to pronounce that name. Coming out from Pavin and konkawe, going with the coordination side of things. So now we go on to the bans, and now what will it be? What do these players hate?
I have a feeling that both these players are practically well balanced when it comes to their repertoires of abilities and capabilities. But here is going to be Wildcard 2 that gets the ban. First from konkawe, going to be throwing the baton on that map, and it's going to be down to Pavin to response. So it's going to be Coalition 1 that's going out, not going to be allowing any of that mental stamina nonsense to be brought into the limelight here.
Yeah, like I had a quick look at the pool for quarterfinals, and I see Coordination 1, and it's like, yeah, this is either going to be ban or protect. There is no in between. There is no, oh, let's just leave it out and see what happens later on, and maybe do a little bit of this when I kind of need to. No, you ban or you protect. That's it.
Yeah, indeed. And especially here, we can definitely see that a lot of the picks that remain on the board that are ways to be played out here are definitely quite crazy maps to be playing on, so to say, especially with this one being literally the midpoint of the whole tournament. This is the point where even the top players start to fall down into loose brackets. So Pavin going to be making that first move on the board, going to be on none other than Wildcard Freeze. So Escape Rope, definitely a bit of a sensible pick, so to say, on when it comes to wildcard maps, especially with this one being a little more density oriented, so to say. I know that both these players are definitely more than capable of playing this, and definitely a sensible pick from the side of Pavin as well.
Oh, okay. Patu getting a little bit of the stream action here. Hello, konkawe. But yeah, I can definitely also, 100% agree. Very good pick from Pavin. Although, yeah, konkawe, he also could pretty much handle stuff at this level on his own. I'm expecting to see like back and forth going on. Definitely not going to be a sweep, or they're not going to be having it easy as they did from the very early stages, like a 5-0, 5-1. Yeah, I do want to see this go to tiebreaker.
I mean, to be
What a
fair,
story it would be.
yeah, to be fair, I don't think you're alone in that tunnel to begin with. I mean, this is definitely looking to be such an insane match that I would not be surprised if this is the highest expectation that everyone has, or at least the absolute minimum that everyone's going to be expecting of a match like this, where you just have like two of Thailand's most reputable profiles in contesting against each other to see who's going to be remaining in the winner's bracket. So one way or another, one of them is going to have to at least fall down either way. And if it does go to tiebreaker, and Nalo is just going to set the precedent that none of these players are someone you want to mess with, especially going to the losers bracket, where regardless of the result or not, both these players are literally going to literally make everyone crap themselves. Like, there's just no better way to describe it.
Yeah, and so far we're already halfway in, and yeah, their statements have just been proven with what they're actually doing right now. Oh, 99.88.86. This is extremely high level LN comprehension. They really know what they're doing, and they are putting it all for us to see.
Absolutely, and we do go into a bit of a calmer section here. Going to be capitalizing more on some of these release differentials, and even then, so far, going into the final quarter of the map, there is still no advantage to be seen. It's only just hundreds of points in the bias of one player, then it flickers over to the other side for just a few seconds, and that alone is definitely worrying alone. It's a very concerning sight right here for what is literally the first map. And so far it does seem like the score is biased to konkawe for the time being, but how much can it stay on their side as the score flickers?
Ooh, I don't know. konkawe just dropped 0.02 right there, but we still do see a little bit of flickering. What will happen all the way to the end? Who takes it?
Oh, 700 points.
Pavin gets it. Pretty good ratio as well. It's about 70, 60, 70 regular 300s. But both of them just getting 200s. Yeah, this is a testament. This is the first view of what's more to come. You're gonna expect a lot more of these score gaps going on further and further into the match.
Exactly, and the two scores that we saw on the board right there are literally mental. Like, there's just no better way to describe it. Both players had the same amount of grades, which just boiled down to 2 grades, and the only differential that basically spells it all was the perfect ratio, which Pavin just capitalized off of. And we know that Pavin is very capable when it comes to a lot of these LN maps as well, just as much as konkawe here. So it's going to be down to coordination to the next pick on the board from konkawe here. Going to be picking into their predict almost immediately, going to be responding to that first pick as well.
Yeah, this is konkawe's protect. Coordination 2 is slightly more, a little bit more denser than coordination 1, although to be fair, anything in this map pool is going to be denser than coordination 1. But yeah, although it is just a tiny bit more denser, it definitely does not let up on the releases as well. So yeah, still could go either way after all. I just cannot stop like glazing both of these players right now. They are just both so good at what they do.
It's literally like seeing Jesus Christ and literal Satan himself like in an arm wrestle. Like, at this point, who do you even support? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I probably would not support Satan, to be honest. What's happening with konkawe though?
Oh yeah, no one would. Okay, that was an abort from the side of konkawe there. My bad, guys. I'm sorry, Leon.
All right, well, it's a good thing that they caught it early, and yeah, we'll just wait for konkawe to settle his stuff, and just hit right back in.
As a Catholic, I find that funny. Well, you're welcome. I don't know what to be saying. That just slipped out of my vocabulary. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being creative. I'm sorry I have an imagination. But that aside, we can continue on with the match after that little silly abort that we had to squeeze out, that little cheeky pause that we had at the start. We can now move on to 7. Hopefully this is not what's gonna dictate the score line. Hopefully.
Okay, and here we go for the second time for pick number 2. Yeah, it starts off pretty calm. We do see some short short-ish long notes also playing into the release factors, as well as plenty of other long notes with varying snaps, varying release snaps. And yeah, konkawe, being his protect, does have a tiny lead, but that honestly doesn't really say much because it is very early on, and it is just too tiny for it to be considered safe.
Absolutely. And going into the first course, this is going to be going past the first quarter of the map right now. So far, very solid accuracy from both players. Going to be literally over that 99.9% accuracy mark, as the scoreline just has a bit of bias on the side of konkawe for the time being. About 1,000 points just jumping between different hundreds in the equation right here. Not going to allow Pavin to have any sliver of advantages for the time being. Going for a lot of these short lens which can literally throw a lot of players off, especially some of the release timings here, which are staggered, and that alone can definitely be the death of some other people, but not for these two, because they're just thriving on these kinds of things.
Yeah, being literally perfect through all of these staggered releases, and they're just not letting up. Like plays like this. You show this to someone in like 2015 and you'll be like, yo, this is not legit.
Oh, literally, like, we've just come that far in humanity that most media tournaments just become more and more insane as time goes on, especially when you have some of the best LN players in existence currently just duking it out on these maps like it's nothing. And especially going into the final third, it's still more or less the same story. konkawe just has a bit of that advantage going off of some minor misjudgments from the side of Pavin for the time being.
Yeah, so far this match has just been the difference has just been because of ratio game, and at this point it's pretty much still the same. konkawe right now, we do see that lead flickers into the 4-digit area like a little bit more right now. So, but yeah, it's gonna be really high score, and it's gonna be really sad to see that one of them will probably lose with like a 996k.
Yeah, and especially then final 8 for the map going in. There's still hardly any difference between both these players, and I know I sound like a broken record saying it at this point, but it's just so close. Like, both these players are literally just so broken, and we can't even nerf anyone here besides from just buffing the map pool for like maybe 3 more rounds after this. But the final short lens go down. That's the final few anchors and jacks going down. It's gonna be konkawe just making it out with 1,008 points. How do you lose with a 996k and 2 double S's
I
at that as
know.
well? What?
Top 10 questions science still cannot answer.
Oh my god, no. Yeah. Dude,
All right,
we're
so
only 2 maps into the whole match, and I'm already getting a brain aneurysm. This should not be real. I can't. I'm scared. Mom, please pick me up.
sorry, mom went to the store for milk.
Yeah, I know. I called her earlier. She's out somewhere. She's going home tomorrow.
Okay, so just based on what we just saw, looks like on the lighter, slower, more coordination focus, I guess konkawe does have a tiny bit more ratio game to it. While Pavin, first pick with wildcard 3, was a little bit more on the dense side, and yeah, he did show a little bit more a little bit better ratio game as well. So honestly, the moment they both pick, either one picks something that is not too dense but also not too slow, yeah, that's gonna be absolutely wild.
Yeah, absolutely. Pavin here going to be walking down memory lane in the red shoes as they have been a finalist in the solo score rush tournament as well. Shout out to lot in the chat right here. Both these players are doing really well so far, being able to maintain some solid score leads for the time being, but the goal line is literally disappearing as I say that. It's only 210 of perfect and poised just to separate the two right now, as this map is a lot more technical than the other two maps that we've seen thus far. This one being a map from none other than the Mike League, it really amplifies on a lot of the more technical flow patterns. It just maximalizes it to be able to provide such a treacherous map to go onto in the quarterfinals here.
Yeah, this map does look a little bit more dumpy, follows like vocal dump patternings quite a bit from what I can see. So yeah, I would say this is like kind of the middle of the road kind of thing, where it's not too dense and it's also not too slow. And the releases they're there, but they are sort of manageable. A little bit gaps here and there. Both of these players still nailing those patterns absolutely perfectly. Like, how do you even do that?
I mean, honestly, I have no idea. The world just gifted us with some crazy players, but I think this is basically what tournaments are all about either way. It's just about finding that fine balance that can really at least allow for options that both players can at least counter and fight each other on. Even if it's like with something as small as pillars, maybe anything can be used to your advantage. And this is exactly what we can see here, as much as basically at this point, every pick here is literally death row. Like any map, you can just lose by only less than 1,000 points. This is the only margin you get, because I doubt that both these players are even capable of missing on these maps unless we see something very odd just like happen out of nowhere.
Yeah, like what happened in map number 2, but we got an abort for that. Probably the only time it's gonna happen, the only time where a miss will happen. But so far right now on map number 3, there has been no misses, and there is only a 500 point difference between both these players. Konkawe with the V1 double S losing out to the 1-200 with better ratio. Another nail biter.
Yeah, only one great from the side of Pavin, but that basically brought the whole map so much closer than it needed to be, because of the fact that if konkawe just makes sure that they can't get any bleeding misjudgments on any of the maps, then there is potential for him to be able to capitalize on some of these maps as well in question, because of how virtually tied both these players are. There's basically no words to describe it, as konkawe is going to be throwing out coordination for the 4th map into the whole pool, and this is going to be bringing out some of the more timing hell oriented maps. So this one going to be a little more conventional and contrarian to the red shoes as we've seen earlier. This one going to be a lot more faster and also more rock oriented, so to say.
Like, yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Like, timing hell-esque. This is like just what I would probably call this coordination 3 pick. But yeah, it is still coordination, but yeah, going from coordination 1 to 3, it's like the density is just like low density, mid density, and then high density coordination.
Yeah, indeed. This map kind of jumps from a bunch of different categories within one map, while maintaining, or at least like just staying within the bounds of being a timing hell oriented map, which usually, arguably, are some of the more popular picks, or at least they are popular when it comes to most tournaments in general, when it comes to at least approaching some of that harder category and department of these patterns, where you really just encounter maps of such a high caliber, where you're facing some players that are on the same field as you. And we can definitely see this with this type of match, where both these players are basically the same, so they want to be able to try and throw anything just to be able to try and bring something into their advantage, at least put something in their bag to be able to try and say that they have at least collected and accumulated some evidence that they have competed, more or less.
Yeah, but still with both of these players, they're putting everything on the line. They're showing their best gameplay, the best that they can do right here. And like, it's unfortunate to say that for one of these players, their best is not going to be enough. But literally against like almost anybody else, it would most definitely would have been enough.
Yeah, indeed. There's still quite a bunch of the map left to go. This is only just the first third, more or less, of the map itself. And even then, we still see some flickers on the top line for both these players, only with Pavin having a bit of a score bias in their side, but it's only like 200 points. So basically close to nothing, as konkawe is threatening him by so much other weapons as well. It's really just down to how much they can handle within this map alone.
Accuracy difference so far, only a 0.03% difference, and I do not believe that in the entire match up until now, that difference has gotten any more wider than that.
Yeah, exactly. That alone is just scary to think about. Wait. To
look at konkawe's side, and he just picks up a 200 that we can actually see so far. Like up until that point, it was like just looking at 300.
Yeah, this match is literally just scary to the point where even if you don't miss, the worst misjudgment you can get is a good, and that is literally the closest you can get to a miss, basically becoming the equivalent of that impact in this match alone, where both these players just know how to FC everything. It's just really down to the consistency to be able to make sure that they can at least that they can just act as best as they can. I'm just running out of words at this point. Both these players are just approaching the 5,000 combo mark on this map alone, and it's not even over. There's still maybe about 30 seconds left of the map remaining as the map is just about to close out. A few more seconds as there's still so much anchors and some broken jump stream bursts embedded with an Ellen remaining on the board, and it's going to be Pavin that makes it out with a safer lead than usual, 1,400 points, so to save grace.
Yeah, at a battle between these two players, a score gap of over 1,000 points is considered, this is too big. The loser, whoever lost the point is like totally washed. But nah. It's just that the level of these two players. Every match so far has been like pretty close, and we see one that's like a 6,200 difference, and one of them V1 double S, the other one picks up 6,200s. The difference is too big. Yeah, there's no way it's coming back from that. Even though he got like 99. What was his score? 994, or is it 990? God, I forgot. I forgot to look.
I mean, honestly, the map alone just looks so scary. Even if it wasn't for the 6 greats on the side of konkawe, it was the ratio alone that was 17 perfects apart, and that alone definitely sends some shivers down the spines of some of our spectators here. So it's something that threatens anyone, and anyone watching this match that's probably gonna have to face one of these players is definitely just rocking in their chair right now, as they're gonna be making it Tech 2. That is the Protect from Pavin being thrown out here, as that's gonna be both Protects gone.
Yeah, Pavin right here picking his own Protect. He's probably gonna look to build up his momentum, keep the score going. Do not give his fellow teammate any sort of respite. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Any sort of like chance of coming back. He's looking to close out point number 4 for himself. Starting off right here.
Yeah, exactly. There has to at least be some signs of a potential decisive map, because everything that we've seen so far has been so close, but at the same time, like, I feel like the possibility of there being decisive maps in this match alone is a bit of a tall order, so to say, especially with this map being a lot more shield oriented and jack oriented. This is like kind of closer to maybe Tech 3 perhaps, but or no, coordination free, yeah, but kind of not adding in any of that more broken jump stream. This is a lot more jack oriented, as we can see, and it seems like konkawe has a bit of an advantage here by a few hundred points, going through a lot of these shields and some of those bursts as well.
Yeah, but still, this entire map is going to be littered with shields, with some tiny mini jacks. There is not really much, and also there's not really much break. I think there's only one break section, but I don't think these players are going to mind whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. I believe it's after this section as well, where you have this pretty familiar melody from some of -45 songs from Pavin. This is the first ever proper miss of the whole match. That is a few thousand points on the side of konkawe now. Oh my goodness.
Yo, that score gap is massive. 7,000 points. We're in the break section right now.
Oh,
That's gonna be that's gonna hurt.
Yeah. Honestly, if that was me in a match where I was doing so well up until that one miss where it's been so close, that would even hurting would be an understatement. It would literally just feel like a full-on injury. Like
that would just mess you up.
Absolutely. Oh, and then there comes the ending.
Although more surprising is that konkawe just... Oh, actually, at this point, no, it's not surprising. He's just doing what people are expecting him to do. He's just gonna be full comboing the map. This is Pavin's Protect. And he just made a mockery of it.
Literally, and especially then, this is one of the most important points that konkawe is going to have to get one way or another because of the fact that Pavin is already halfway through with the match itself. They currently 3-2 in their favor, so now it's going to have to be down to konkawe to make another pick on the board to be able to try and climb the lead back if they want to try and at least win without having to go tiebreaker, because the whole match itself is looking so crazy tight, and now we've basically cleared just about one half of the pool so far. So we have ult density picks intact, but konkawe doesn't want to go into any of them. It's really just either Tech 1 or maybe 2 of the wildcard maps that are remaining on the board.
Yeah, honestly, he could just roll his picks and the score difference for that pick would be in the hundreds, maybe 1,000. Okay, Tech 1 is going to be that pick.
Alright.
So yeah, staying away from density and still.
Yeah. Very good pick from the side of konkawe here. I feel like the strategy is that konkawe probably wants Pavin to pick into the density picks himself, because this is basically like one of their strong suits, especially since we have seen Pavin early in the match just combat konkawe on some of these density-esque maps, even without having to go into the category itself. Yeah, because there's still a bunch of maps left on the board, but I feel like konkawe is probably going to have to favor maybe this map, as this is the final tech map, and then the wildcards afterwards, which are kind of treading a line between becoming a little more density-oriented, especially with wildcard 1 being kind of density-oriented than wildcard 4. So my map, in this case, is kind of close to density, or at least it incorporates coordination as well on top of that.
Yeah, well, the maps in the wildcard pool are like mostly just combinations of different categories. We like coordination plus density, then we have I don't know what else we have, but that's pretty much the idea.
Yeah, indeed. And we can definitely see it with so far this match. It's still really close one way or another. Pavin, konkawe doing their best to try and act a bunch of these patterns, but going off of some of these judges, the lead is in the favor of Pavin for the time being by about 0.07%, as the map is still pretty long and lengthy enough to at least allow for a bunch of switch-ups to happen, as we do see some instability from the side of Pavin that's going to kind of amplify any of these human flaws that is going to have to be the deciding factor for some of these maps here.
Actually, yeah, konkawe also did below 99.8, but actually in the very first like quad of the map, I saw his accuracy like go down quite a huge bit below. Like he was in the 95s. I think he might have also dropped a 200 or a 100 right in the beginning, but that was too early and it might have been missed. But after that,
Yo.
he was pretty much keeping up with Pavin for the most part.
Yeah, this is just the overall gimmick between both these players. The main gimmick is that both these players are nearly virtually tied. It's really just down to human error to try and dictate some of these picks, even if it's like insanely close. Probably one of the closest score lines that we've seen throughout the whole quarterfinals thus far, and we're not even literally a fraction in, like at all. It's just insane to think about.
After this pick, we would actually be halfway in. We'll just see will konkawe be tying it up, or will Pavin maintain his composure and take a 1-point buffer, bringing it to 4-2. We have just a little bit more map over here. We do see the density spiking a little bit, but not enough to face either of these players.
Yeah, indeed. And especially with this map being a little dense, it's definitely a lot more dump-oriented as it has a lot of these streams that Jackson incorporate. But konkawe, unfortunately, not going to have it in their best of advantage as choking on a lot of these patterns earlier in the courses. It's going to fall into the advantage of Pavin, unfortunately. 2,700 points, the differential between both these players, and it's really just down to the absolute ratio alone. Just about over 100 perfects of a difference, and just 5 grades under from Pavin, as it makes it 4-2 right now.
Right, Pavin right now in the driver's seat. Well, okay, whose pick was it again? I think this is konkawe. This was konkawe's. Okay. So yeah, wildcard 1, wildcard 4, and then density, which is like density is gonna be in every single one of them. Even wildcard 4, like as you say, does have a little bit more density oriented along with some other stuff, and then density is density.
Yeah. I have a feeling that Pavin does have the luxury of a bunch of these options here, especially with the whole density category just open for grabs. But I feel like I have a feeling that this is exactly what konkawe wants him to pick into, and it's going to be Density 4 right on time as well. Going to be one of the first originals being played out for this round. Going to be Noel for the time being. Interesting map, so to say.
Very. So
Indeed.
we're going to be having the first look into the density category, finally played by both of these players. I didn't make it all the way to density category, so this is gonna be my first time seeing it as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, a bunch of the density maps are pretty distinguished from each other. It's really just Density 4 that pretty much serves as a pretty good option for if you're trying to snag a point, but you need it on a map that's at least like a little conventional, but also short, because Density 1 is really long. It really tanks in on the stamina probably arguably more than every other map, and considering that it is the longest, but even if it isn't like as mentally draining as Coordination 1, for example, it's still probably one of the most nerve-wracking maps to go into, in my opinion.
Understandable, which is probably why up until now in the entire quarterfinals nobody has picked it yet, at least according to Serenade.
That's actually pretty interesting of a statistic. I never actually thought that this map hasn't actually been chosen out yet, but barely than ever, I always say.
Oh no, wait. Oh, we're talking about Density 1.
Oh, my bad. Oh, I misunderstood. I'm so sorry.
Okay,
yeah, so
back into the match. Okay, in the density, going to the density category, konkawe and Pavin are once again virtually tied, as is what we've seen in the first 3 maps. Ooh, a little bit of a trill action.
Yo, this map is very reliant on a lot of these really open space density patterns, but it's just fast. That's basically the main difference here that really can open up for a lot of separation between both these players. But so far, it does seem like Pavin has at least managed to climb that advantage into their favor for the time being, as this is pretty fast in BPM. I don't know the tempo off the top of my head, but it has a lot of these trills that can really throw people off, and we can definitely see that with Pavin not being able to show complete invulnerability to any of these trills by any means, and it just slowly flickers to the side of konkawe.
0.84 to 0.83 with the difference being in favor of Pavin just for a tiny bit more. This section does look pretty chokeable, especially with that more trills happening and accuracies are tight once again.
Oh my god, wait.
And in
It's
the end,
still
the inverses,
flickering.
the inverses,
Watch
the
the
release.
nose. Watch the end.
What's the release?
No!
209
points! Oh my god.
Virtually tied. Difference of almost nothing.
Oh my goodness, that is crazy. This is such a heartbreaking way to go into match point as well, because konkawe had that in the bag for a good portion of the map in the earlier half. It's really just Pavin's consistency that brought it all back together. And that alone is going to bring them to the match point situation. So konkawe wanting to at least maintain their life in the winners bracket for just a bit longer going into semifinals, they're going to need at least some hope at the end of the tunnel. But it's coming down to density free, which is, and you can literally never trust what you see with this map. This one is a lot more unconventional than all the other density maps. This is literally just all over the place. Oh my goodness.
That sounds very, it sounds like we're gonna be in for a treat.
Yeah, we can definitely see that Pavin already is mentioning that they don't really like the map. Could this be the first signal that this could actually be konkawe's pick, maybe? I mean, I'm not entirely banking on that, but like at the same time, the potential is right there. It's literally knocking on death's door as we speak for now.
I mean, Pavin might have said he hate the map, but like considering the entire quarterfinals pool, he probably got like maybe a 992k, and he says, "Ah, no, I can't play this."
I mean, you know, some players are just way too much of a perfectionist these days. Like, there's so many divas in the media community if you come to think about it, but I just can't name any off the top of my head without being disrespectful, so I'm not gonna say it.
I mean, neither can I. I unfortunately have not been with the Mania community for a long time. I just retired. Ooh.
I mean, it's
Okay.
fair.
Yep.
I mean, at one point in your life, you're gonna have to reach Sanctuary on your own, but there is some stuff here with the lag happening, but the scoreline is actually showing to be in the side of konkawe for the time being, but it's really unsafe right now.
Yeah, actually, konkawe had a pretty good lead, but it's just like in the last 10 seconds, he just started picking up like more regular 300s until his once again, accuracies are virtually tied. He does still have a little bit of wiggle room. No, actually, no, there is no wiggle room. You have to be perfect.
Literally, 100% perfect. You need to do what you can to act these maps as best as you can, but only a few hundred points are in the favor of konkawe right here, as both players are just bleeding. So many misjudgments here and there. This map is literally the death of so many players, but they're both trying their best to make it out of this alive, as Pavin looks to try and take konkawe out of the winners bracket just with this map alone. But konkawe has proven fighting chance to be able to show that he cannot go out this easily. He has the unwavering determination within him to make sure he can at least make it 6-3. But can we see it as the map slowly closes out in just a matter of a few seconds? The final few accuracies start out there. Wait,
it's flickers. It flickers.
No!
Oh man, right to the death. Oh my god. One 210 regular 300s was the difference, but Konkawe, he had it locked in until literally right at the end. The final 5 seconds, maybe even the final 3 seconds. It
Only
just
10
it
perfects and no grades. What are you doing?
okay.
Oh my
Ma-
goodness.
match that leaves you speechless.
Absolute cinema, as they all say. And that is exactly what we see here. Pavin, contrary to what everyone and what we believe, going to take this match 6-2 right now as we go off on a heartbreaking ending for the side of Konkawe's winners bracket here. And the song really does add up to that emotion alone. Konkawe going to be knocked down into that losers bracket, unfortunately, as Pavin is going to be punching their ticket into the semifinals bracket, going to be facing none other than Muchi. So that alone is going to be a really scary match in the semifinals
Wow.
already. And Konkawe is going to be sitting in the losers semifinals waiting between Unitori, Nightmare, otherwise known as Briku, and Leon. See who's going to be entering that chamber with him.
Oh, just banger match after banger match. Yeah, this is these are stacked names, these are stacked matches. You do not want to miss them.
Absolutely. The streamer is literally telling you that you gotta see some of these matches as the literal challenge is shaking right here. But that aside, we actually, even with this match being a hype one, we do have a bit of a break for the time being, gonna be about 2 hours or so before we proceed into the next match at 15 UTC. This is going to be none other than OMLN4 versus Parasol Tree. So another friendly fire match and waiting in the losers bracket, and it's gonna be probably just as heartbreaking as this one. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that match will actually have more consequences because it is a losers bracket match. One of these players will know that they caused their teammate to go out. They caused their death.
Literally, and that alone is really what sets up for these really unfortunate backsteps you're going to be seeing in this tournament from here on. But that aside, I hope you all enjoyed the break. And Cryolian, do you have any other closing thoughts before we end the stream out?
GG, well played to both players, pulling up a banger of a match, and good luck in your future matches. And that would be it from me.
Hell yeah, man. Well said there. Yeah. We will catch you all after the 2-hour break. This has been Epic Man 2 joining alongside Cryolian, and we will see you in a bit. Take care, everyone. Drink some water.